Hi guys, I am back. You can't really see. Well, hang on. Maybe if I step out of the way. Okay, so this is my new apartment. Good, we're focused back. Okay, I just got done filming a apartment tour. So that should be up soon. So yeah, this is my new apartment. This is where I'm going to be filming from now on. I am still using natural light. I am still standing. I have a desk like right next to me. However, I just don't think it's gonna look good with the way I kind of film. So there's that. Also, my apartment is like right next to a shooting range, which I didn't really even think about how that would affect me being able to film. But if you hear little gunshots in the background, that would be why. I haven't heard any in a while, so that's why I started filming. But today I think I'm gonna go and film a video kind of similar to what I used to film in the past, and I'm gonna give you guys a really good story time right now. So this story time is my boyfriend cheated on me. Which, if you guys know anything about me, I have not been in a relationship with a man for 2 years. I'm currently dating my girlfriend, Frankie. But I just feel like I never actually talked about this story like in a public forum. And I feel like it's been like long enough where the person's probably not going to notice it on the internet. And if they do, there really shouldn't be any harsh feelings because it was over 2 years ago at this point. So yeah, and it's just like a really interesting story. So I dated this guy. Let's call him Jake. Okay. So I met Jake through a friend of a friend. His friend Ed, which Ed is a real name. I'm not like renaming everyone in this story. His friend Ed wanted to get at my friend Catherine. So they were like looking to do like a double date type of thing, and Ed was like, hey, like I have this friend Jake and it would be cool to do a double date with the four of us. He's into you, like, do you want to go on a date with him? And I was like, sure. So we met for coffee on our first date, and it was a good date. Like, you know, awkward little like first date kind of like, you know, nervousness and things like that. And then after the first date, he asked me if I wanted to come over, and I was like, no. I lied. I was like, no, I have to go pick up my brother from his friend's house. I said something like that. We kissed and it went well. We hung out a couple times after that. He came to my college to visit me because he is from my hometown. And that was over like my winter break. So I was like, hey, if we're gonna continue this, like, you have to come see me at my school. So he did. He came over multiple times to my college. He met all of my friends. We were doing like PDA, like public like relationship type things. Like, we would go get food together. He would pay for my food. We would like hold hands and things like that in public. So like in my mind, I thought we were pretty official. He was also in a band, so I went to a lot of his concerts and things like that. Okay, so we met in January. Fast forward to the beginning of May. I go to one of his concerts and I bring my friends with me. I brought Cassidy, Rebecca, Haley, maybe just the three of them. That part doesn't matter. So I'm at his concert. I say hi to him, whatever. I see him like hug this girl, and I'm like, that's a little weird. Like, I didn't know he had any friends that were girls or friends that were like close enough that he would like hug and things like that. And my friends were like, Sarah, you're being ridiculous. Like, it's probably his cousin. It's probably, oh, hang on, I totally forgot to like add this part into the story. He had his own house. He's the same age as me, so at that time he was like around 20. His parents bought him his own house because they're rich as fuck, and instead of paying for him to dorm at the college he was going to, they just bought him a house because they thought they would be spending a lot of money anyways on dorming. And he shared this house with his sister because his sister also went to college, and I used to go to his house all the time. Met his sister, we watched movies together, things like that. Okay, so like his sister knew that him and I were a thing too. Okay, back to the concert. So my friends are like, Sarah, like, you don't, like, just relax, like, it's nobody, whatever. After the concert, I waited for them to like set up their merch table, and I went over and said hi, and he was like, I'll meet you at my house like after this. And I was like, okay, great. So then I went to his house after. By the way, he was going on tour the day after this concert. He was going on tour. So he was like, after all this is done, I'll meet you back at my house and we can hang out, because like I wasn't going to see him for like 2 or 3 weeks because he was going on tour. So I went to his house, we hung out, his sister and his sister's boyfriend were there, and I wasn't ever allowed to sleep over, and he never slept over in my dorm room either, which I thought was always a little weird. Oh, I just heard a gun. So, which I thought was a little weird because, I don't know, I just thought that that's kind of like what people did. So, and this is also important. He had like magnets on his little fridge. And so I wrote on the fridge J plus S because his name started with a J and my name started with an S. Okay, so there's that. I waited to see if the guns would stop. I think that they have stopped, but if they don't, I'm just going to try to power through this. I apologize. You're just going to hear like the masculinity in the background. So, what did I say? Magnets. Okay. Day before tour, I'm at his house. He invites me to sleep over, and I was like, oh my God, yeah. Like, he never had invited me to sleep over before. So I was like, I just have to go get my like stuff. Like, we literally live streets away from each other. Like, it would have taken me 5 minutes to go home, get my stuff, come back. And then he was like, never mind. Like, you know, I don't really want you to sleep over. And I was like, okay, whatever. So he goes on tour. We talk while he's on tour. We FaceTime. He talks about how he wants to bring me, because they were like down south kind of. They went to a couple beaches. So he told me how he wanted to take me on vacation there, like in a couple months. And yeah, we talked all the time. I picked him up. He came back from tour, and I picked his guitar, his whatever, all in my truck, or my car, not my truck, I don't have a truck. Drove him to his house. He was like, hey, I have dinner with my parents, like right now, but like if you want to come over after, like you can come over after. And I was like, great. So I go do my thing. He went and did his thing. I went over after. He gave me a seashell that he had gotten while he was there, like at the beach, which I still have to this day. Super weird. You know, we did normal couple things. And then I went home the next day. I get a text from Ed, and Ed is like, hey, like I have to tell you something. And I'm like, what? And he's like, and by the way, Jake, I almost slipped. Jake was on his way to my house because we were going to go walk my dog and like go on a walk and stuff. So he is on his way to my house when I get this text message from Ed. Ed's like, I have to tell you something. Like, Jake was basically bragging the whole time we were on tour about how he has 2 girlfriends. One of them is fat and one of them is skinny, so it's the best of both worlds. And he was just bragging about how, because they were like making fun of each other, like I guess normal guy banter, and was like, oh, you don't get any. And Jake was like, yeah, I get a ton. Like, I'm dating 2 girls, like blah, 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 blah. And I was like, okay, so I need to bring this up to him clearly because he's on his way to my house. So we go on this walk. I bring it up to him. We walk for like probably an hour. I'm like crying, and he had nothing to say. He was like, yeah. He's like, I didn't think that we were official. He's like, I'm talking to this girl, Charlotte. I'm like, okay. So he leaves, and I have no idea how to feel. I get Charlotte's phone number. From Ed. And like, I'm not one of those people, like if my significant other is cheating on me, I'm not mad at the person that they're cheating with. I'm mad at the person that's cheating. So she was afraid to give me her phone number. I'm like, girl, trust me. Like, I'm not trying to be mad at you. I just want some answers. So I get her phone number. We talk on the phone for literally 2 hours, and we just compare like everything. And what's so weird about it is in that 2 hours, and she was the girl, by the way, that I saw him hug at his concert before he went on tour. So yeah, my radar was good on that day. My friends were telling me to not palm itches. I think that means that like I'm either gonna lose a lot of money or gain a lot of money. Anyways, my friends were telling me to like relax, and I knew it. Like I knew there was something weird about him hugging her. I'm editing this in my car before I go into work, and real quick I just need to interject. I didn't make this point very clear in the video, but like, what kind of balls do you have to invite both of your girlfriends to your concert? What kind of balls? That's all I gotta say. She's telling me that she's upset too because she's older than I am, which means she was older than he was. She was like 5 years older than us, and she was telling me that she thought that he was like the one. Like she thought that she was gonna marry him. She sent me all these pictures of the two of them together, and she was telling me how she slept over his house all the time, which is super weird to me because I was never allowed to sleep over there. And she's like, I'm surprised you couldn't tell because like she would leave her clothes there. She would leave her makeup there. He would do her laundry for her. And I was like, no, I never saw any of that. And then I was like, I'm surprised you couldn't tell because I literally put magnets on his fridge that said S+J. And they were there. Like he never changed it unless he changed it every time she came over and then put it back. I have no idea. And like, other little random things that like he would never do this with me but would always do that with her, or he would never do this with her but always do it with me. Like he would always tell her that he had no gas and he couldn't drive and blah 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 if she wanted him to come over, so that's why she always had to go over to his house. But yet he would drive over an hour to come see me at my college. Like just weird things like that, like super weird. Hello everyone, again much later, again in my car, except obviously it's dark outside, so much later. I was on my way. I should actually turn this off before my whole video gets destroyed because of like copyright things. Anyways, I was thinking about the video. I'm on my way to my friend Jesse's house, and I was just thinking like, wow, I used to go to Jake's house every single night. Like this is my daily routine, at least when I'm home, like in my hometown, is like go to work, eat dinner with my family, spend the time with them, and then every single night come to the Orange's house, which are my friends, they're sisters, and we would watch something, go on a walk, do whatever, and then every single night I would go to his house. So like to me, like I just wanted to clarify that because like in the beginning of the video I said like we hung out a couple times, and I just want to like let you guys know like that it was like almost every single night. So that also was something that just like mind boggled me as to how this man had time to be with someone else when I was literally at his house almost every single night that I was home in my hometown. I mean, obviously I was away at school for periods of time, but like during my winter break and like Easter break and all those breaks, like I literally was at his house every single night. So there's that. And kicker, his sister knew the entire time because he would have both me and Charlotte over his house, and his sister knew and was just totally okay with it. Like if I knew that my brother was seeing two girls in this respect, like this seriously, I would have to say something, maybe not to the girls, but at least to my brother, like, what the fuck are you doing, dude? And she didn't say anything. So after I'm on the phone with Charlotte for 2 hours, because like when me and Jake were talking, I like didn't know what to say. I was extremely hurt. I was extremely upset by the fact that he would say that he had the best of both worlds with the girls he was dating, a fat one, a skinny one. I was blonde, she was brunette, like that type of thing. So I was extremely upset by that, and he just had nothing to say. He's like, well, I'm a 20-year-old guy. Like, what do you expect? Like, I'm not looking to settle down, like, blah, blah, blah. So I talk to Charlotte on the phone, and I get all these, like, things in my mind, like, oh my God, like, this guy literally has two personalities. Like, that's how I was feeling. Like, legitimately, that's how I was feeling. So the other thing is, it's just a random thing about it, too, is, like, they would go on cookie dough dates all the time. We have this like place, it's called Doughboys in a mall near us, where like you get cookie dough, it's like raw, you eat it, okay, whatever. So they would go on cookie dough dates all the time, and I specifically asked him one day, I was like, hey, have you ever been to this cookie dough place, because you and I should go? And he was like, no, I've never been there. So like all these like little things are like adding up in my mind. Get the balls to go to his house, and his sister answers, and I'm like, Is Jake here? Sorry, I slipped again. Is Jake here because I have some things I need to talk to him about. And she kind of just like rolls her eyes and like, she's like, yeah. And he like comes to the door. He didn't let me in. And by the way, I'm like 5'4", and this man is like 6'4". Okay, so like the fact that he was like being a little pussy ass bitch when I'm trying to talk to him, like he wouldn't let me inside, like kept me outside. But anyways, so I bring up all these things to him. I'm like, just so you know, like, I know this now and I know that now, and I can't believe this and I can't believe that. And I was like, and you know what? I feel for Charlotte because she was trying to contact him too and he wasn't responding. And I was trying to text him too and he wasn't responding. And that's why I went to his house. I was like, you know what? Like, you are a douchebag. And again, he had nothing to say to me. Absolutely nothing. And so that was it. We were done. Yeah. And then he works at this like car place that a lot of my friends work at and a lot of people I know work at. And basically, like, I told this story to my friend Cassidy. She told her friends that nobody likes him at our work. So it was like this whole big thing. Ed kicked him out of the band because Charlotte was actually one of the band members' sisters. Like, her brother was in the band and her brother was pissed when he found out about all of this. So yeah, fast forward to like now. I saw him like me and Frankie were eating in Chipotle and I saw him a couple months ago there. He like walked into Chipotle, saw me and Frankie, and then walked out. And I was like, you know what? Like, he's such a pussy. Like, I guess you're not eating Chipotle today because you can't look me in the eyes or at least be in the same public place as us. Like, we're from the same hometown. We're going to each other at some point or another. Like, at least have the balls to like go into a public place and not be a dick, you know? So yeah, that's my story time of my boyfriend cheating on me. I don't know if you guys have watched any of my vlogs, but I was vlogging kind of like while me and him were like dating. And I mentioned in one of my vlogs, like, oh, me and Charlotte are going to film a story time about this whole thing. Because me and her like became friends, and she was bisexual, by the way, and we almost hooked up just to kind of like spite him, but we never did. And we never could like really film because she was living in some place where like she didn't want me to come over and I didn't want her coming over with my parents there. Like, if I was in this apartment, I would totally invite her over, but I didn't want her coming over with my parents there and having them like listen to the whole story. So we never actually ended up filming, but like, we're friends. She invited me to her wedding. She actually got married a couple months ago to a different guy, obviously. She invited me to her wedding. I couldn't go because it was like during the school year, so I had like clinical and things like that. But yeah, so that's all I really have to say about this. I just thought it was a funny story time that I've never shared with you guys. I'm sure I'm gonna get so many comments from yours talking about how, well, no wonder he cheated on you. Have you seen? And you know what? I'm just gonna block them like I always do. So that's my story time. I hope you guys like this video. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.